Give you guys a moment to join in and we will get this party started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's it going? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Win. Good morning, Jay Linder. Good morning, Corey. How's everybody doing today? Um, always not fun when we have a long weekend, right? Like it's a trader's worst nightmare. I think somebody posted in Slack that they couldn't wait till Tuesday arrived. So I'm certainly looking forward to trading today. And it's turning out to be a good day. I don't think it's going to be a horrible trading day. Dan pointed me to Roku right before I started, and this looks like a delicious gap. So retest gap for sure, but I think we can go up a little bit. And then my idea is to just turn around and roll over. I really like this gap, but of course my favoriteest gap off the day is Home Depot, for now at least, where we're at. It's a gap and go. It looks beautiful. I think their earnings weren't as great. Consumers are just not spending enough. Walmart also happened to have earnings today in the morning, and their guidance, I was looking through it, their guidance was kind of low for the next quarter, but I guess, at some point they were gapping down. When I was looking at it, it was actually down here somewhere. And then they started to go up. So yeah, it looked like a gap and go actually for a little tiny bit early in the morning, and then it just started to bounce. So, but anyway, Home Depot, I feel like, is a good gap and go to go short off of. Because this is a pretty big gap down, it's almost a 10-pointer. I don't know if I want to short it pre-market. So I don't know if I want to just jump right in. But, if you think about it, we're kind of sort of breaking down on this trend line with a gap and go. So I think any opportunity that we go up on, I would be looking for a short. So this would be my favorite day ticker to go short off of today. Day trading ticker, and we will take it from there. Miguel says the only people who hate long weekends are traders. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. And Miguel, you know what? I'm a futures trader, so futures are open. They were open yesterday, but the volume is so low that I don't enjoy trading futures on long weekends. So I don't really like that either. So yeah, but I mean, absolutely, yeah. It's just there's just no excitement in my day. The markets aren't moving, there's no news, there's nothing to keep track of. It's just not fun. COF also has a nice gap and go. Let's go check that out. Let's go check out COF. I truly think that, gap and goes do phenomenally well, especially early in the day. So if you're a trader, let's say, I worked with somebody that lived in Australia, and for her, this is midnight. So she absolutely hated staying up all night trading. And this is gap and go is the way to go. You get a trade on right at market open and be in and out in about 30 minutes, and you should be good. So that's the way I look at gap and goes. I really like this gap and go also. I'll add it to the list. Yeah, delicious. Very similar to Home Depot. Home Depot has that trend line, whereas this has this beautiful support that we're breaking down on. I like this a lot. We're gapping down below this big green candle. So yeah, I could see a continuation to the downside for sure. Yep, looks good. All right. If you guys have any tickers that you want to specifically look at, let me know and we will get this party going. Let's check out Tesla because Tesla seemed to be trying. Okay, on these 2 days, it really was. And, had it taken off, it would have been all right. We retested. So let's say today we were opening here, which we're not, by the way. But if we were, then it would have meant that we have this inverse head and shoulders that we're retesting and then we took off, right? Makes sense, everybody? This is the neckline, right? But that's not the case. We're coming down a little bit. So maybe we come down a little bit and this turns into a bear flag, which, over the broader term perspective, I guess makes sense. It's okay, completely okay. But I just want you to keep in mind, I just want that this could easily turn into a bear flag. So if you're expecting this to be an inverse head and shoulders, this kind of is a damaging gap today. It is a gap down, very slight gap down, but it is gapping down. So I'd be really interested in buying Tesla at the 10 EMA. I wouldn't really mind buying Tesla here, honestly. So let's keep an eye out for this. At 192, I think we have a good level of support. Actually, we have a good level of support at 195 also, but we'll see where this guy wants to go. And if it wants to continue higher today, I think that would be great. Then we go fill this gap at 207. I think that's a good range for Tesla. So either way it goes, I think we can play it in either direction. There's just not, it doesn't look like a Home Depot chart where I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly what we should be jumping on and we should be playing. That's it. Just those are the thoughts. Let's look at Intel and Boeing. Let's check that out. Intel is a cube gap and go. What's going on here? Yeah, like it. It's gapping into some resistance here. If we can take this out, I think, well, 45.25, I think we can continue and go higher. It's decision for Intel if we're going to turn into a head and shoulders or if we continue higher. Soon we'll know, but I like this gap. So for a bullish play, I would pick Intel. For a bearish play, I would pick Home Depot and COF. I think it just depends on where the broader markets go. Speaking of which, let's go check out the broader markets. The Qs have this gap down. And guys, I want you to keep in mind this divergence. I know we've been talking about this in the swing trading room. Yates has been talking about it also. But a lot of tickers have this divergence, right? Like, well, from here, where the stock's been continuously making new highs, but the RSI has been making not higher highs. So that usually means that the bulls are tired and they want to kind of sort of slow down the momentum. Doesn't mean we're going to come crashing down, but we could slow down a little bit to the bullish side. So the Qs are gapping down right below this trend line. I think a bearish continuation could very likely happen today. If I were in Qs, I think 425.50 is a range I would target for a short play today. And we're not really that far off from it. We're 4 points away, but yeah, I like this gap down on the Qs. Looks delicious. I think it's worth that play for sure. So if the markets want to come down, I think HD and some of the other tickers that we've been looking at are much, much more likely to work out. All right, let's go look at Boeing real quick. Boeing's really interesting at this 200 level. It's been battling it for a couple of days now, right? Like it's not really taking off, but I like this wedge that it's creating. I like this almost like a pennant pattern, but almost like a rising wedge also. kind of deal. I like what it's doing. If it breaks down, this is just a lot of consolidation at one range. Let's go look at the weekly. Maybe the weekly has a little bit more. Yeah, see, if you were to look at this as a 3 or 5 minute chart, what would you be doing here? If this was a 3 or 5 minute chart, I think I would be looking for a breakdown of this candle, and then a continuation down very quickly to the downside, right? Or a breakout and close above here. So until then, I think we don't really have a play in it, unless Boeing puts in a magnificent candle like this today. It's looking interesting. I'll give you that. I'll definitely give you that. I would be interested in going to the downside. I think it looks pretty bearish to me. And if it does break down, I think it'd be a phenomenal day trading day for Boeing. Let's see what kind of movement it has during the day. I will keep circling back to this constantly and see if it does have some momentum. But yeah, I like it to the downside. If in case it goes down, turns into a trap and goes up, and of course, I'm talking over the course of, 6-7 days, then I would be interested in going bullish. If in case it turns into a trap, but I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to continue to the downside. Boeing does have a lot of support at 200, and then look at this, all of this chunk right here. And then there's all of this right here. It does have a lot of support, but it's decision truly for Boeing also on the weekly chart. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see where it wants to go. If it does break down, this would be a wave 3 on a weekly chart, and that could last for a long time. Let's see where it wants to go today. Okay, cool. Let's go look at Apple. Apple has a beautiful daily 10 EMA, almost triggering. And it kind of looks like a skewed head and shoulders, not really perfect one, but kind of. So again, I'm not a big fan of shorting Apple. I've said this time and time again. But if I am looking to go bullish something, I would want to make sure where the daily trend is, and the trend seriously looks bearish at this point. So this is its last saving grace. Once it takes out 180, I think we're good for a ride down. So keep an eye out for 180. Keep an alert. Just as soon as we close below this candle, you might want to buy some puts on a retest if you have a position in Apple. That's all I got to say about that. Let me go circle back to YouTube real quick and see if they have any tickers. Good morning, Nvidia, Coin, and the Qs. Let's go look at that. Apple is bearish now, yeah, for sure. Definitely. All right, let's go check out Nvidia. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a beautiful, beautiful long weekend. Nvidia with an outside bar, almost an outside bar, bullish, a bearish engulfing candle, 2 big bear candles right at the top. Pullback is definitely in play here. It kind of looks like it's wanting to pull back, but we've got earnings on Nvidia on Wednesday, tomorrow. So I don't know if I want to short. This is one ticker I would not YOLO puts. I would not buy YOLO puts on at all. Just be cautious, or YOLO calls on. I think if you're just doing it with 2-3 shares or whatever, then it's great. But this is just really, really risky. We are extended for sure, but I feel like you could hold off on taking that risk. It's in that wild movement still. So I just want you to be cautious with it. As far as day trading is concerned on Nvidia, today I feel like we will have a pullback. Like I said, I'm having doubts about it. If I had some long-term Nvidia shares, I would want to trim some right before earnings, and so I think that might be in play. Definitely looking to short it around 724 area, and you could put an alert right over here. Let's actually put an alert there. Crossing up. All right. These things will trigger right away, right at open possibly, and then see if we get a 10 EMA right below that. So yeah, and the target would be the 10 EMA on the daily, which is 706, which is about 26 points, which Nvidia can do. So I'd be looking for something like this if I were to find a setup, first of all. And just based on that, wherever my stop needs to go, just based on the setup, wherever my stop needs to go. But yeah, something like this is what I would do on Nvidia. That would be the play. Okay, cool deal. Let's go look at Coinbase. Coin is doing phenomenal. I mean, what a beautiful day that day. All right. So for my long-term investors, long above here, definitely makes sense. Jeremy's volume video just makes sense. But for now, I feel like Coinbase is going to pull back a little bit. And it has made a pretty big move, right? And this is, you can tell this is a profit-taking candle from everybody that's been in here. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly, yeah, it's very likely that we can come back and retest a little bit into like the 160 range and then continue higher. So this week might be a little bit of a retesting candle kind of play on coin. With that being said, I think for our day trade, we will have some bearish momentum to the downside. I think I like this play in coin. Let's keep an eye out for this. Everything kind of sort of looks a little bit heavy at the top and wants to pull back, which makes me happy because, you know, we're going to have some bearish momentum. Some of the best day trading days, honestly, are bear days. So if you're one of those people that trade, you know, once or twice a week, but day trade once or twice a week, then you should cherry pick those bear days that you can day trade on. I think it just makes life a lot easier, gets to targets a lot quicker. All right, let's go look at PLTR. Coin is the next SMCI. I mean, it's got a good weekly momentum. I will not deny you of that. Yes. And it moves hand in hand with the crypto. This candle definitely took out all of the bears. So yes, I do understand that, you know, this is a pretty big bottoming pattern, a cup and handle pattern, if you want to call that. Yeah, sure. Bullish continuation can happen. If the markets pull back a little bit this week, I think coin will have a retesting candle. Like I said, I don't think it's going to do anything spectacularly bearish. I don't think we're going to take out this candle at all. This is a weekly chart, of course, so it's going to take some time. But yeah, I think it could go all the way up to, I mean, till here at least to 278, and then it might have some sort of a breathing room sort of scenario. How long it's going to take, I don't know. I can't tell you a time frame on that, but yes, I do agree with that. I do agree with the bullish continuation on it. All right, we were looking at what was I looking at? PLTR, sorry. PLTR looks kind of interesting at this point. So if I was a buyer on this day, which I mean, seems like there's a lot of buyers there. Today, with this gap down, how would you feel? How would I feel today? I mean, I can cleanly see this double top, right? Everybody can see this double top. I'd be a little bit afraid today. If we were gapping up, it would have been a different scenario. But because we're gapping down, I'd be a tiny bit afraid today. I feel like we can pull back a little bit, maybe trap some bears here to this area and then continue higher, or just pull back a little bit. But yeah, PLTR, I think I would not want to play this bullish today. Bearish is the way to go in my textbook. I want to see this go up a little bit though. So I want to find a setup. Like I said, a lot of tickers look interesting, but I don't know if the setup happens. So many times, during these morning rooms, I'll say, oh, this looks bullish, this looks bearish, this looks this looks that. But then when it comes time to take that setup, I might end up taking a completely different setup because it looked bearish, but then the setup screams bullish. And so it all just depends on the setup. At market open. If the setup happens to be in a bearish direction, I truly would enter that trade. If the setup happens to be in a bullish direction, I think I'd leave PLTR alone for today. That's what I'm trying to get to. All right, let's go look at Amazon and Google. Amazon had a pretty decent day, a couple of decent days. Looked like it was going to go fill this gap, and then we bounced again. Right now, this is a very interesting pattern right now. So, I would have loved it if we were gapping below 167. I would have been jumping all over this ticker for a short, but we're not really doing that. If we start closing below here, crossing down for a day trade or a swing trade, I think either one could work. But yeah, if we were gapping down a little bit, it would have been really cool because it would have been like somewhat of an island reversal, not a perfect one, but somewhat of an island reversal. So yeah, but for now, there's not much to look at. There's not a setup here that makes me want to scream and jump with joy. So yeah, we'll just leave it alone for now. Walmart, like I said, big gap up on poor guidance for the next quarter. It's surprising that it's gapping up this much. A fade candidate, you guys. I would see this thing fade. I could see this thing fade too. It just looks extended. A lot of optimism. Let's see if it fades down at open. I'm gonna keep an eye out for this. It looks like a little bit extended. I mean, if it was at 174-ish range, I would be okay, cool. We can pull back and then continue higher. But at this point, we're a little bit extended. Definitely a fade-worthy candidate. We'll keep an eye out for this. Let's go look at Google and Meta. And then we have to look at our darling AMD. Google is also at a very interesting spot. Just like Apple, there is this head and shoulders. It's a skewed one, but I see it. I see you. So definitely here, and we're gapping down below that neckline. So Google could get interesting. It's weak, and we are breaking down on this trend line. So I like all aspects of bearish trades on Google. Google, I think, moves up a little bit on my list. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go look at MU for Julie. Ooh, nice. So big emphasis on closing below these candles. Do you see these high volume candles? Do you see how like that initially becomes the resistance spot for so many days? So yeah, MU, I think bearish continuation, definitely. It has been a couple of days of bearishness. So would it be opposed to trading it bullish for maybe a little bit today? So here's how I would play it, Julie. I would wait. Actually, let's put some fibs on it. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna see how high this thing can go, technically. All right, so this 80.05 range is my shortable range, the 618 area. That's where I would be looking for 10 EMA setups. So if something sets up at the 10 EMA over there at 80 range, I would want to go enter that bearish trade because this is a good, decent retest range. So yeah, on a 3-minute chart, by the way. So this is where I would be looking for bearishness and see if we can roll over. But I could see, if the markets flip and want to go bullish, I could see us going up a little bit and then maybe coming back down. The only reason I'm not saying, oh yeah, we'll go bearish right at open is because it's had a couple of days of bearishness in it. But yeah, definitely a sweet little breakdown. Bearish is the direction for a little bit on this guy. I could see it come down quite a bit. And take it from there. Yeah. I like it. Looks good. I have MU on my list, do I not? I think I deleted it earlier. Are you going down on? Yeah, the Qs are pulling back. They're not very bullish. Let's go look at SPY real quick. SPY also has that divergence, that we talked about. And you can see, right at the top, you can see how the volume kind of decreases to the bull side and the bears are definitely stepping in, right? It just could be profit taking. I mean, I think it is profit taking. I don't think anyone's just panicking and jumping ships and all of that's happening just yet. But I do think that bearishness is in it's creeping in slowly but steadily. So just keep an eye out. I mean, I like the zone that we're gapping down on. The Qs look very bearish because we're gapping below the 10 EMA. SPY, on the other hand, is at the 10 EMA. So who knows, maybe it finds support and then rolls over. I don't know. But we'll see. I think I would, if I was in SPY or if I was looking at this chart on a 3-minute time frame, I would not be looking for a bullish setup. I would, look at all this volume and say the bears are certainly stepping in. I think bearish is the way to go. So definitely look out for bear setups rather than bull setups. That's just my 2 cents. Yeah, absolutely. Julie with a heart emoji. Thank you. Hello, real virtual demand. I like that new name. I like that name. Armando says markets will go up. Look at the Euro USD. I mean, if they do, it would be really, really cool. Because honestly, the risk to reward right now, just because I think this way, I think a lot of people think this way. Wouldn't you think so? I mean, the charts definitely look bearish, right? And so if they do, let's say we take this candle out, I think it would be like a big push up to the upside. For a day trade, I think it would trap a lot of people if we do go up. So it would be a trappy day trading day. What I'm saying really is the best risk to reward for today would be to the downside. I'm not saying, oh, the markets will go down or up. I think just, if we find a setup to the downside, I think that's where my best risk to reward scenarios would be. But yeah, if they do go up, I think we'd have to battle some traps, but we could still play it bullish. So Lowe as a sympathy play with Home Depot. So, I was comparing the two, and I think Lowe's is a little bit more weaker than Home Depot, at least on the books. If you guys ever want to have that discussion, let me know, DM me, and we'll do this. Or maybe in one of the Dan's long-term investing sessions, we should go over that. But yeah, yes, I agree. I definitely agree. Jay, this is a pretty big gap down. I like it. Completely willing to trade at bearish. I like where it's gapping down to, but I would have liked it a little bit lower than the 20 EMA also, but still, it's at support. If it does bounce, I think this is the range I would want to look for a rollover at 224. I don't think it's gonna do that though. I think it's gonna pull back, especially if Home Depot pulls back. And they were talking about how consumers are just not spending, which makes sense. I mean, especially at a place like Home Depot and Lowe's, which I think you could do without those expenses. You could do without remodeling. It's if you had to take your pick. So yeah, I think these are definitely shortable tickers today. Lowe's and Home Depot. I will definitely keep an eye out for it. Again, this doesn't work out. We've got Coinbase. No, which one was it? Which ticker was it that we were looking at for bull continuation? I have not looked at Meta, but Meta is also looking kind of hangouty. So we'll see where Meta wants to go also. It's looking kind of weak. All right, guys, the markets are open. Unfortunately, I'll have to say goodbye to YouTube land. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Until then, give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so, and I will see